In all the think tanks we visited, we found a visible sense of excitement and very much hopefulness about Prime Minister Modi's visit here to China. And I think there are basically two areas in which both the Chinese and perhaps the Indian foreign policy experts are hoping to see some major announcements. One is in the area of culture and collaboration to um, celebrate jointly and to build upon our cultural heritage, which is very much shared. And the other area is on economic cooperation. I would like to just highlight one point which I'm hoping that our Prime Minister and the Chinese President can take up when they meet in a few weeks, is that there is a very great need for Indian and Chinese scholars to be able to meet more regularly and more frequently. And many Chinese scholars have faced difficulties in being able to visit India for prolonged periods, and we need to address that because frequent intellectual and scholarly exchange, which means meeting in person, not just by corresponding, is going to be a very critical factor in the ongoing development of Indo-Chinese relationship. Yes, since we have been in Beijing over the last 3 days, uh, all the people we have met at the four think tanks we visited have spoken about the new normal in China, where they are expecting 7% or less of growth. And what I found interesting is that the new normal is still being discussed in terms of relocating the areas of dynamism in their economy. Whereas what one was hoping for was to find that now the Chinese political system and its economic planners will be moving towards the idea of a new kind of equilibrium, a radical rethinking of the definition of growth so that they are able to spread the well-being more equitably, because we know there is an issue of the millions of people who are still left out of basic facilities, and yet also be able to combine that with the environment. And it's yet to be seen whether the dichotomy between growth versus environment can be successfully resolved. Most of the think tanks we visited, people talked about the need to have India play a much more active role in climate change. But as we have pointed out to our colleagues here, India is moving very rapidly towards solar energy, as is China. Of course, we know China is ahead of India in how far and how deeply it has been able to introduce solar energy. However, the big question that we need to address collectively, and certainly jointly between India and China, but collectively the whole world, is to recognize that the targets which the China-US deal on climate change has set are simply not adequate. It is a good beginning, but Paris must get commitments from all the leading nations, certainly US, China and India, for a much higher level of cuts in the emissions, because otherwise what is currently been set, what benchmarks have currently been set in the US-China deal are simply not good enough to be able to give us the cuts in emissions at a rate and on a scale which scientists believe is necessary if we are to avoid catastrophic climate change.